Hello ladies, so today I thought I would just give you a couple little like cliff notes from my book that I'm working on. I need to finish it. Anyway, so the first one is accept a man exactly the way he is. It's literally like one of the first rules in Fascinating Womanhood: accept a man just as he is. Okay. Oh, sorry. Number two, do not try to change him. It goes along with number one, but you might think you're helping him unless there's something like he has a gambling problem or a severe addiction, which, hopefully you vet the man before you said yes to him, because you said yes to him exactly the way he is. There's a time and a place for gently, kindly, respectfully, lovingly pointing out an area they might be blind to. But all in all, overall, like the other 99% of the time, you do not try to change your husband. And even when you have that rare opportunity where you're pointing something out in love, you still have to just leave it there, kind of like leaving it at the altar at his feet. Like, this is what I saw, just, for your blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about that another day. For now, zip it, okay? Okay, love and serve him for your whole life with all that you have. The Bible says, Ephesians chapter 5, pretty sure it's verse 22, wives unto your husbands as unto the Lord, meaning the way that you would serve God is how you're supposed to serve your husband. So, and it does not matter what kind of husband you have because you married him. It doesn't matter whether you think he's being nice or selfish or grumpy or mean. You are supposed to serve your husband with full love, and it will only bring you good rewards. Okay, so when the universal principle of you sow, then you reap. So it's like karma. You're sowing good seeds. You'll reap a harvest of goodness back. May not be right away, but you have to be patient. So. And basically, life is a whole journey. Life is not a sprint, it's a marathon, right? I call it a roller coaster. But you have to be able to realize that there's different seasons in life. There's good times, there's bad times, and just ride the wave. And, so I'll talk more about that in a second, but I was numbering these anyway. It says number 4, but whatever. Take him at his word. So if he tells you something, just take him at his word. Believe him that that's what he means, and he says what he means and means what he says. Okay. And number 5 goes with that, which is believe the best. Believe the best in him. That's really, really important, because even if a man has messed up, the fact that his wife believes the best in him makes him want to be a better man, so it's really, really important. I know I've struggled with that in the sense that I just know how many women are attracted to my husband, and I know that he's a man. So, I have definitely fallen flat on my face a number of times. I'm like, you're talking to somebody else and you want somebody else, or, these silly things that, that we do that are just really annoying. So I've definitely fallen short there. And he's like, why don't you just believe the best? And I'm like, I do. And he's like, really? So anyway, something that us ladies definitely have to work on. So number 6, do your job. And that is probably one of the most important ones, because you cannot control anybody else but yourself. You most definitely cannot control your husband. So you can focus on what you have to do and do your job. Your job is to keep him coming home. Okay? So do your job with the kids. Do your job around the house. Do your job for him. And that's all that you have to worry about. Number 7, I wrote, praise your man. Yes, praise him about everything, from how his hair looks today, you like his haircut, you like his beard, his muscles, wow, he did such a good job fixing that, or he, you're so proud of how long he's been at his job, or how well he handled the situation, or bringing home a paycheck. I mean, just praise everything, literally. And the next one goes right with that, which is be grateful. Being grateful is almost like a sow and reaping thing, because the more that you're grateful, the more you receive. So, it helps you to not take things for granted. I don't know if I wrote it on here, there's one, but do not complain. So that kind of goes with being grateful. The less you complain, really, Bella, or fuss or nag, any of that, then when you do have something that you want to bring to his attention, he's more likely to listen to whatever it is that's bothering you, because you don't complain. So he'll be like, oh, this must be actually important for her to bother me about it. So being grateful, I heard it said, you'll see little memes and pictures of things and whatever, like, dirty dishes means that you had food to cook, toys all over the floor means that you have kids, that you love and taking care of them. Maybe cooking your husband's meals, or, cleaning up after him, it shows, Bella, no, it shows that you have a life full with the family. So you can even write it up or print it up off the computer or something, look it up. I'm sure you could just Google the image. But if you're someone that complains about your chores and stuff, put something like that up there to remind you how blessed you are. Because if it was just you all by yourself, yes, you could live like a slob in a pigsty, but you wouldn't have a whole sink full of dishes from cooking big meals and all the rest that goes along with actually having a big family. So you should really be grateful. And the Bible says we're supposed to do everything unto the Lord. So you're not keeping the house clean for anyone to praise you for, except for God. Okay. So technically, yes, your husband too. But, sometimes your husband's tired, he's busy, he doesn't have time to look at every little thing you've done and say, oh, good job. So it's just the idea that you're not working hard for the praise of man, people, but to know that you did good for the Lord. Okay. Again, as long as your husband overall lets you know, yes, you're doing a good job, or no, here's what you need to improve, you need to take criticism as well. You need to be able to listen. I think that was part of the next thing. Hold on a second here. I actually wrote notes today. Goodness, what does that even say? My handwriting's horrible. Oh, okay. Be your best. So every day, you're in competition with yourself to be better than you were yesterday, and just keep working on being the best version of yourself. Again, there's different seasons. Sometimes it's a little easier than others, as far as, say, your physical parents or this, that, the other. Kids take a lot of focus and a lot of energy. So it's like now that all of our kids are officially out of school, 2 of them have their careers. They're really like adults, and the other 2 are still kind of like that early adult age. They're basically still teenagers, but out of high school. So, I feel like, okay, now, even though I still have to work with them and do things with them, and there's certain things I have to get done with them, gym and whatnot, that my husband wants me to teach them certain things. But now I could take a little time and focus, getting myself together here, because I'm like, all right, Daddy, I gotta get with it here. In the last couple of years, I've just been falling apart. So anyway, so it's part of the right place, the right time, but always just try to keep working on being the best version of yourself, your character, how your personal relationships are with people, with your friends, with people you have to deal with in the public. I do my best to be very pleasant, fun, happy, but if something's not right, I do my best to say it as nicely and calmly as possible without freaking out. So all of it goes together. Also, I guess next one would be like number 10. I'll have to print these up. It'll be in the book, is keep your eye on the prize. So just remembering that, we have a daily journey, and then it's, weekly, monthly, yearly, and the years just go by. I mean, it's crazy. I can't even believe it feels like different lifetimes. But keeping your eye on the prize, that your ultimate goal with your husband is to make it through life together, to the end of your days, through all the thick and thin, better and worse and everything else, rich or poor, sickness and health, literally till death do you part. And how that is going to positively play out and affect your future generations. It's very powerful. So when you're going through a hard time, remembering that this too shall pass, this is a season, we're going to get through this, we'll be better than we were before. Even if you don't feel like it, it really is true. It really is. If you can hang in there, it will be better than it was before. And to keep your eye on that prize, that if we make it to the end, which we're going to do, then all of our generations down are going to be better for it, versus a broken home, which then, again, sowing and reaping. It's like, evil begets evil kind of a thing, or good begets good. So you want to sow that good into your family lineage line. So, let's see, what else? I wrote, stop what you're doing when your husband's talking to you and listen. Listen intently on what he's saying. Our minds, women, like, we have like just so much chaos going on, like ADHD. Sometimes we're like here, there, and everywhere. Like, oh, I don't know. Okay, what'd you say? We really have to focus and take notes. Make a list of the things that are important to your husband, a list of things he wants to get done, a list of things important, like I like this meal, or we need to do this with these set of clothes, or my camo needs to be clean, whatever, or projects that need to be done, uniforms, etc., all different things. It's your job to make a list and to get it done. So pay attention when your husband talks to you. Obey him. All right. Men, the majority of men love the woman that they're with, and they want what's best for her and for their family. So they're never going to deliberately lead them astray. Okay. So your job is to obey him. And men created, built, and sustained the society that we live in. So he knows better than you. Okay. Even though we seem to think that our way is always better, and it's really not true. So overall, obey your husband. He's not going to tell you to do something bad the majority of the time, like 98% or more. All right. Versus the moms. This is another story. So listen to your husband, obey him, just like you would the Lord. Okay. And that really shows you what kind of relationship you have with God. For all these chicks talking about how religious they are. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to say is surprise him. Surprise him with nice things, like a little love note in his lunchbox. Let's see, I wrote down some things so I wouldn't forget what I wrote. Note in the lunchbox. Of course, spontaneous sex is always good. Foot rubs, massages, head. It's always good. Get down on your knees. So, and all those kind of things are free, which he'll certainly appreciate. And all the things that make him feel better, restore his battery, and he enjoys a lot. So, it truly, one thing that they tell people that are depressed is to, get out of their space and try to make someone else happy. Well, what better way to keep your mind on what your job is, what you're supposed to be doing, and out of your overthinking chaos self, other than, how can I make my husband happy? How can I surprise him? How can I show him extra gratitude? Show him how thankful I am for him. In any little tribute, touch, adoration, accolades, admiration, anything extra that you give him, he's going to appreciate. So you can't go wrong. And again, women are always trying to say, oh, well, he'll take advantage of you, he'll do this, he'll do that. I am here to tell you, after 34 years and almost 24 years of marriage, that my husband has only cherished me more, taken care of me more, goes above and beyond to do extra things for me. And I don't have to worry about anything that goes on in my household, my bills, my car, my phones, my insurance, all the stuff, food, just everything. I don't have to worry about that stuff. My job is more the emotional, relational stuff. And, some like personal assistant kind of things, pay this bill, make this call, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, vet appointments, and on occasion he'll come and he'll help me with like the dogs, for example, since we have one of our little pit bulls is just a little cranky, so she's a little harder for me to handle. So he'll make sure, that he'll come and go with me, things like that. Or if the kids have something serious going on, he'll take off or make time to come with me to something like that. But other than that, I've done all that stuff. When the kids were in sports, he did that with them a lot, even though, because we had so many kids, we were both running around sometimes. But, he definitely participated quite a bit in the sports with them, which we all enjoyed, So, anywho, that's just a little list for now. Even though I tried to make it organized, it still really wasn't very organized, was it? But it's okay. I'm going to put it in the book, and I will type that up and post it on the community page. So it's like a 1 through whatever. Yep. And, it's just these little things that we implement every day, and we remind ourselves, reread our own lists, say, okay, yes. And you can write the things down when there's certain things that are talked about and you think of, oh yeah, my husband does this or he does that. Write it down. Like, you really should journal. It's very, very helpful. Not perfect at it, but I've been doing it for years. Thanks, Jim Rohn. He said that's one of the most precious things you can leave to your children is your journal. So anyway, lots of love and talk to you soon. All right, ciao.